Let me tell you something. Mornings matter. The moment your eyes open, before your feet hit the floor, you've already made your first choice. Are you going to run your day, or is your day going to run you? That's where it starts. That's where the battle begins. Not at the gym, not in the meeting, not when the pressure's already on. The battle begins the second you wake up. And if you don't control your mind from that first moment, you give the world permission to do it for you. That's why I say the most powerful part of your day is the morning. Not because the sun is shining, not because the coffee's hot, but because that's when your mind is wide open, vulnerable, unfiltered. And if you don't fill it with power, with purpose, with belief, you better believe it's going to get filled with fear, doubt, distraction, and everything else this world throws at you to keep you average. See, most people treat the morning like an inconvenience. They hit snooze 5 times, they scroll their phone, they complain before they even get out of bed. They speak defeat into themselves before the day even has a chance to challenge them. You think champions do that? You think people who are building something meaningful do that? No. Champions don't wait to feel good. They decide to be good. They don't wait for motivation. They wake up with intention. And that starts with what you say to yourself, the words, the self-talk, that inner voice. It's not just background noise. It's your thermostat. It's setting the temperature for everything else that follows. If you wake up and tell yourself, I'm tired, I can't do this, I'm not built for it, guess what? You're building your identity around that. You're already losing before you've even stepped out of the house. But if you wake up and speak power, if you wake up and say, today I attack, today I grow, today I win, then that becomes your posture, that becomes your focus, and that's not just mental fluff. That's how you align your spirit with your vision. That's how you override the doubt, the fear, the hesitation. That's how you take ownership of your energy. Because let me break it down to you real simple. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Life doesn't care how you feel in the morning. It doesn't care that you had a long night or that you're not in the mood. Life comes at you whether you're prepared or not. But when you've already declared your intention, when you've already reminded yourself of who you are and what you're after, then it doesn't matter what life throws your way. You're anchored. You can't expect to walk into the world on autopilot and come out on top. You can't expect to stay average in your thinking and be exceptional in your results. It doesn't work like that. What you program into your mind when it's fresh, when it's clean, when it's quiet, that's what determines how you respond when the noise hits. Because trust me, the noise will come, the setbacks will come, the doubt will creep in. But if you've already declared your truth before the day started, you don't fold, you fight. So when I talk about mornings being powerful, I'm not just saying it because it sounds good. I'm saying it because it's the first chance you get to lead yourself. And if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead anything else. Your goals, your vision, your relationships, your hustle, they all follow your mindset. And your mindset starts with your mouth. So speak life, speak strength, speak direction, speak commitment. Tell yourself exactly who you are and what you expect out of yourself before the world tries to tell you who to be. You've got to stop waiting for motivation to show up in your inbox. You've got to stop hoping that someone or something is going to come save you from your own lack of discipline. You want to know what will save you. Consistency, intention, ownership, and it all starts in the morning, before you brush your teeth, before you check the news, before you worry about what anybody else is doing. Check in with you. Speak to yourself with clarity. Speak with fire. Speak like your life depends on it, because it does. This is your edge. This is your secret weapon. Most people are reactive. They wait for life to hit them before they decide how they feel. Not you. You wake up and create your day before the world even knows you're coming. You don't walk into your job, your dream, your vision with a question mark in your chest. You walk in with an exclamation point. That's what happens when you speak the right things into your morning. That's what happens when you stop playing passive and start playing deliberate. You want to win. You want to build something that lasts. You want to outwork, outlast, outperform the competition. Then you better take your mornings seriously. You better stop letting them slip by like they don't matter. Because what you do in those first 15 minutes determines how you respond to the next 15 hours. That's not hype, that's real, that's strategy, that's power. So tomorrow morning, before your feet touch the floor, I want you to make a decision. I want you to speak strength, not stress. Speak progress, not problems. Speak identity, not insecurity. Because if you can win that first moment, you can win the next one, and the next one. And before you know it, you're stacking wins. You're moving different, thinking different. Leading different, that's how it starts, that's how it's done. Win the morning, win the day. Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's showing up with a magic plan. Nobody's going to hand you the life you want. You've got to speak life into yourself. You've got to learn how to build yourself up when nobody's clapping, when nobody's checking on you, when nobody's validating what you're doing. That's the difference between people who make it and people who stay stuck. They don't wait on encouragement, they create it. We live in a world where everybody's waiting. Waiting for the perfect time, waiting for the right words, waiting for someone to notice them, believe in them, push them. You know what happens when you wait on people to motivate you. You stall, you delay, you waste time, and time is something you don't get back. While you're waiting on someone to believe in your dream, someone else is grinding for theirs like their life depends on it. While you're hoping someone speaks value into you, someone else is declaring, I am valuable. Every single morning, whether they feel like it or not. You've got to get to a place where your voice is louder than your circumstances, where your belief drowns out your excuses. Because if you don't speak power into yourself, the world will speak doubt into you every time, every morning you wake up and look in that mirror. You better know who you are. You better remind yourself what you've survived, what you've built, what you're still building. Because the truth is, if you don't tell yourself the truth, you'll believe the lies. It's easy to feel strong when everything is going right, when people are supporting you, when the results are coming in. But what about when it's silent? What about when nobody's watching? What about when it's just you, your alarm clock, and the pressure in your chest? That's when the real work begins. That's when it matters the most. And that's when you've got to open your mouth and speak to yourself like your life is on the line, because it is. Every morning, you've got to remind yourself what you're capable of. Not just once, every single day, because life will make you forget. Struggle will make you forget. Failure will make you forget. You mess up once, and suddenly you start questioning everything. Am I good enough? Am I strong enough? Can I really do this? Let me tell you, you don't need the world to answer those questions. You need you to answer them. You need to look in that mirror and say, I was built for this. You need to say, I'm not backing down. You need to say, I'm not waiting on a sign. I am the sign. This isn't about arrogance. This isn't about pretending to be something you're not. It's about activating the part of you that's been quiet for too long. It's about waking up your own strength, because you already have it, but it stays buried under stress, fear, and insecurity until you pull it out. That's why you've got to talk to yourself like a leader, like a warrior, like someone who refuses to stay down no matter how many hits they take. Because guess what? You will take hits. That's life. But if you've trained your mind to respond with power, then no hit is final. You might stumble, but you won't stay there. You've got to start being your own hype man, your own motivator, your own coach. Stop thinking someone else is going to give you that push every day. Some days, the only voice you'll hear is your own. And that voice better be strong. That voice better be sharp. That voice better be saying, let's go. Because if it's not, you're letting your feelings lead you instead of your fire. It's funny, people will pour energy into everything else. They'll gas up celebrities. They'll repost quotes. They'll scream for their team. But when it comes time to speak to themselves, they go quiet. They don't affirm who they are. They don't declare their vision. They don't remind themselves of the mission. That's backwards. You've got to stop being your biggest critic and start being your biggest advocate. You've got to flip the script. You've got to wake up and speak life before the day tries to speak death. Speak victory before the struggle gets a chance to speak defeat. And don't just mumble it. Declare it. Say it with your chest. Say it like it's already done. Say it like it's not up for debate. I'm focused. I'm chosen. I'm driven. I'm enough. I'm ready. Whatever it is, own it. Speak it. Repeat it. Because repetition builds belief. And belief changes behavior. And behavior creates outcomes. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about being intentional. Every time you speak life into yourself, you train your brain to act in alignment with your words. You start making choices that match your identity. You start walking with purpose. You stop tolerating the nonsense. Because you've told yourself who you are, and now your actions follow. And let me be real, it's going to feel weird at first, especially if you've been tearing yourself down for years. It might feel fake. It might feel forced, but that's not because it's untrue. It's because it's unfamiliar. You've got to retrain your inner dialogue. You've got to make it your habit. Every single morning, no matter how you feel, no matter what yesterday looked like, no matter what's waiting for you today, speak power, speak vision, speak discipline, speak identity, because if you don't, who will? You can't afford to be casual with your mind. You can't afford to be passive with your words. Words are power. Words are life. And if you don't use them intentionally, they'll be used against you. So stop hoping someone's going to give you permission. Give yourself permission. Stop waiting for motivation. Be your own motivation. Stop waiting to be chosen. Choose yourself. Because when you learn how to speak to yourself with boldness, with belief, and with relentless purpose, there's not a single situation that can break you. There's not a single room you'll walk into where you feel small. There's not a single challenge that will make you fold, because you've already won the internal battle before the external one even begins. So stop waiting. Speak life right now, every morning, until your voice becomes your power. You know what most people don't understand. They think saying something once is enough. They think declaring, I'm going to be great, one time is going to magically shift their whole life. Nah, it doesn't work like that. Saying it once is a spark, but saying it every day, that's a flame. That's how you build a fire inside of you that doesn't go out. Repetition is what makes belief stick. Repetition is what makes identity settle in your bones so deep that it starts directing your actions even when you're tired, even when you're doubting, even when you're ready to quit. You can't just speak it. You've got to live in it. You've got to marinate in it. You've got to train your mind with it like an athlete trains their body. You don't get strong lifting weights once a month. You get strong by showing up again and again and again. That's how belief works. You show up every morning and you speak the same words, not because it's cute, not because it sounds good, but because repetition builds belief, and belief builds action, and listen, action is the key. Belief without action is just a wish, it's just fantasy, but when belief drives action, now we're in a different zone, now you're dangerous, now you're not just thinking about change, you're creating it. Now you're not just dreaming about a new level, you're walking straight into it because you've trained your mind to expect it, to align with it, to pursue it. And that comes from the consistency of the message you feed yourself. See, when you say something to yourself long enough, your brain starts to believe it's truth. That's why it's so dangerous to speak negativity over your life, over your gifts, over your goals. Because even if you don't mean it, your subconscious is listening. You keep saying, "I'm not good enough," and your mind will find every reason to prove it. But the reverse is also true. You keep saying, "I'm a finisher," "I'm a leader," "I don't quit," and your mind will go to work looking for ways to prove that too. That's why I don't play with words. I don't speak defeat even when I feel defeated. I don't speak tired even when I'm exhausted. I don't speak lack even when my pockets are empty. Why? Because my words are seeds. And if I keep planting the wrong ones, I can't be surprised when I wake up in a garden of doubt, fear, and frustration. I speak life because I want to reap life. I speak discipline because I want to walk in excellence. And I speak it every single day until my body has no choice but to follow my mouth. This is what separates those who almost made it from those who do make it. It's not the talent. It's not the connections. It's the repetition. It's the person who gets up every morning and speaks the same thing into their spirit. Day after day, rain or shine, hell or high water, they don't get bored of it. They don't second guess it. They don't talk themselves out of it. They understand that the power is in the pattern. You keep showing up with the same mindset, and your results will have no choice but to elevate. You think the greats wake up confused about who they are. You think they wonder if they're worthy every morning. No, they've already told themselves so many times that now it's automatic. That's how you've got to move, automatic, disciplined, locked in. Because you've trained your mind to know, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I expect from myself. And once you get there, your actions start matching your words. You start walking like you believe it. You start making choices that align with the person you keep telling yourself you are. But here's where people mess up. They say something powerful once, and then when life punches them in the mouth, they go back to silence. Or worse, they go back to negative self-talk. I'm tired. I don't know if I can do this. I always mess things up. And boom, now you've undone the belief you were trying to build. That's why it's not just about what you say, it's about how often you say it. Repetition, reinforcement. You don't speak power once. You speak it daily. You don't speak identity once. You drill it in until doubt doesn't even have a voice anymore. And you've got to be real with yourself. This isn't some overnight thing. This is a lifelong commitment. Every level you reach is going to try to strip away what you've built. Every time you elevate, there's going to be a voice that whispers, "You sure you belong here?" And if you haven't trained your mind to fight back with repetition, with confidence, with belief, then you're going to shrink in moments you were meant to shine. You don't rise to the level of your talent. You rise to the level of your training, and that includes how you train your mind. If you want to be disciplined, speak discipline. If you want to be resilient, speak resilience. If you want to finish what you start, then every single morning you better tell yourself, "I am a finisher." Not just once, every day, until the action follows, until the mindset becomes muscle memory. You don't need to feel it first. That's the lie most people believe. They think belief comes from emotion. No, belief comes from repetition. You say it before you feel it. You act on it before you see it. You lock in before the world gives you permission. And over time, those repeated declarations shape your identity. They hardwire your brain to perform at a level most people only fantasize about. Because you didn't wait for belief to show up. You built it, one word at a time, one morning at a time. So I don't care if it feels awkward. I don't care if nobody's watching. I don't care if your voice shakes. Say it anyway. Say it again and again and again, because that's how you create consistency. That's how you turn motivation into mindset. That's how you stop being a person who talks about it and start being a person who walks in it. Repetition builds belief, and belief builds action. And that's how you become unstoppable. What you say to yourself matters. It's not just talk. It's not just noise. Every word you speak into your life is a seed. You're either planting strength or you're planting weakness. You're either speaking power into your future or you're reinforcing the fear that's trying to keep you stuck. And I don't care who you are or where you come from. Your words are creating your world. You speak failure over and over. Don't be surprised when failure becomes a lifestyle. You speak discipline, courage, and focus. That's exactly what starts to show up in how you think, how you move, and how you show up. See, a lot of people don't even realize what they're doing. They wake up and speak defeat before their day even begins. They don't say it on purpose, but it's automatic. I'm so tired. I'm overwhelmed. I'm behind. I'm not ready. And just like that, they give their mind the script for the rest of the day. They tell their spirit to expect struggle. They program their focus to find everything that's wrong. And when life starts falling apart, they act surprised. But they've been rehearsing that breakdown since they opened their eyes. You've got to understand, your voice is the loudest one you hear. The most consistent influence in your life is not your job, your boss, your friends, or even your circumstances. It's your self-talk. That inner conversation you have every single day. It's writing your story. And most people don't edit that story. They don't question it. They don't redirect it. They just let it run wild. And then they wonder why they feel stuck. But if your words are driving the car, and you're not intentional about where you're steering them, you're going to end up somewhere you never wanted to be. So let me ask you, when you talk to yourself, are you building or are you breaking? Are you laying bricks for a life of purpose, or are you digging holes of doubt? Because every single morning you get the chance to choose. That's the beauty of it. You don't need money to speak power. You don't need a degree to affirm yourself. You don't need approval to tell yourself you're ready. All you need is the decision to take control of your language, because your language shapes your lens. And your lens shapes your life. And this isn't about pretending everything's perfect. This isn't about ignoring pain or acting like struggle doesn't exist. This is about choosing to rise above it. It's about speaking to the strength inside of you instead of the weakness that's trying to drown you. It's about acknowledging the fear but not feeding it. It's about being real, but still being responsible for the energy you carry. Because just like you can speak anxiety into yourself, you can also speak peace. Just like you can talk yourself out of a goal, you can talk yourself into the grind to achieve it. That's power. That's ownership. That's self-leadership. I'm telling you, your words have weight. You don't always feel them immediately, but they're shaping your focus. You speak, "I always mess this up." And now your brain is scanning your entire day looking for proof that you're right. But if you shift it and say, "I learn from every mistake," now that same brain is looking for opportunities to grow. Same day, same you, different story, all because of the words you chose to say first. That's why I say don't play with your words. Don't just talk casually about yourself like it doesn't matter. You say, "I'm lazy," even as a joke. You plant that. You say, "I'll never get this right." You water that. And over time, those little statements become your identity. And once something becomes your identity, it drives your behavior. You can't perform higher than the story you tell yourself. You can't grind harder than what your mind believes about you. So stop speaking like you're powerless. You are not a victim. You are not too far gone. You are not stuck. You are simply one decision away from changing the narrative. And it starts with your mouth. When you wake up in the morning, before anything else gets a say, you need to set the tone. You need to grab that moment before your phone, before your problems, before your doubts try to hijack your mind. You speak with authority. You say, I am capable. You say, I am resilient. You say, I'm not finished yet. Even if you don't fully feel it yet. Say it anyway, because you don't speak based on your feelings, you speak based on your future. You declare where you're headed, not where you've been. You've got to learn how to call yourself up before life tries to drag you down, and some of you, you're waiting to feel like a winner before you speak like one. But it's backwards. You speak it first, you affirm it first, you commit to it first, and then the belief comes, then the energy comes, then the consistency follows. But it starts with what you're feeding your mind through your own voice. I know some of you have been surrounded by negativity for years. People talked down on you, they doubted you, they labeled you. And if you're not careful, you'll carry those voices around like they belong to you. But let me tell you something, they don't belong. You've got to evict every voice that doesn't match your vision, and the best way to do that is to replace it with a stronger voice, your own, a voice that speaks power, that speaks purpose, that speaks progress. This isn't optional, this is daily work, this is discipline, this is what separates the focused from the fragile, the committed from the convenient. Champions aren't just born, they're built. And that building starts with the words they speak when nobody's watching. Every brick is a declaration. Every wall is a mindset. Every door is an opportunity you speak into existence. So tomorrow morning, before the noise, before the chaos, before life tries to shape your mind, shape it yourself. Don't let your day speak first. You speak first, speak life, speak power, speak future. Because the world you walk in tomorrow is shaped by the words you speak today.